Hey, this is Bill Walsh with GBN. So excited today, an incredible guest on the show. We're going to talk about tapping into your intuitive power. I can tell you this, you're going to love our guest today. She's brilliant. She travels the world. She's an author, speaker, coach, trainer, someone you definitely want to get to know. Tammy Mirza, how are you?
Thank you.
Man, thanks for coming on the show today.
Thank you so much.
You know, I know you always got so much stuff going on. Tell my listeners around the world, I want to hear a bit of your story. Could you take a minute or two and just share a bit of your story? How did you get started in this whole thing, tapping into your intuitive power?
Well, it was 11 years old, and all of a sudden I wake up and I'm not the same kid. And I was able to see, hear, taste, feel, and sense by smelling all kinds of things. I was getting information that I wasn't supposed to know at such a young age. So I found out in my childhood that just by going to other students and saying, hey, why didn't you tell me your grandmother's in the hospital? That got me in trouble because the parents didn't want the kid to know.
Wow.
So these abilities that all of a sudden developed became very painful for me. So what I started to do, Bill, was to pull inside and think, I can't share what I know.
Right.
I thought because I knew it, we could talk about it, but that wasn't the case. And so I started giving my power away, as some people say. I really did give my power away thinking, well, you know better than me. You, because you know, because you're sure, and I'm unsure, and I'm trying to fit in, and I don't fit in. I'm some kind of freak. I'm going to pull it in. And so what that caused was one issue after another in life, marrying the wrong man, getting to the point to where I became homeless because I trusted a Bernie Madoff sociopath. There's a book about that little 6-year period of my life. I became homeless. Can you imagine having all of these sensory abilities and you're not using them for yourselves? You're not using your own intuition and your own inner guidance system.
So is that really what so much of this is about, is that, you know, whether you know it or not, we're all tapped into a higher power at some point, but some people like yourselves just, you have a better, what I would call ability to tap into the frequency. People tell me all the time, they say, you know, can you hear the noise in a silent room? And they're like, well, there is no noise in the silent room. Well, no, I don't have the right frequency because the station's always on. You know what I mean? If you just turn the volume up to a certain station, it's coming through that room. Those waves are going by you either way. So tell us a little bit about how does someone tap into some of their own, you know, their intuitive powers?
Well, I've come up with a brand new program, Bill, that I think it's really because of a private conversation that we had, where you can really awaken your superpowers, which are associated with the 5 senses: seeing, smelling, tasting, scent, and feeling. I call it feeling because we usually think of it in our hands. 4 of them are located in specific spots in the body. So what if you realized that you can actually go into a room and read the room by sight, by hearing, by smelling, by tasting the energy of the room? That's tapping into the frequency. It's almost like there's an energy and a vibration and a color and a symbol and all of these things involved at one time. When I started realizing this whole plethora of information that we have, I realized that there are even symbols with the colors, with the vibrations, with the sounds, with everything. And guess what? Prince came out right at that time and said...
He became a symbol.
He was a symbol.
He got rid of his name, became a symbol.
And I went, oh my God, he knows what I just got told.
Right, wow.
So there's things that are happening way past the mind.
Is that kind of like, though, I mean, sometimes, you know, some people come in the room, they're so negative, the lights dim. You know what I mean? It's like you just feel their negative vibe. As soon as they walk in the room, it's like, oh, the whole room changes. Absolutely. And there's other people walk in the room, they brighten the room up. So is that some of the things you're talking about too, where you can just, but feel it at a much deeper level?
Yes, I'm just going to tell you about you for a second.
There you go, let's go.
You're actually clairvoyant. And that the evidence of that, just to talk to you personally about this man, is that he sees you beyond what is seen.
Right.
And you knew you knew, because I waited 3 days in Rainmaker to even talk to you privately. I'm like, I'm not getting involved. I'm not doing anything with you. I'm just here to learn. On the third morning, intuition, go talk to him privately. So I went to Cheryl and I said, I need to talk to him. She said, yeah, we just talked about you last night. We know you need a private conversation.
Yeah.
That private conversation changed my life.
Right.
I
Wow.
needed someone to see me.
Mm.
I have been
I think the gift that I've always had is that I see people not who as they are, but who as they are to become.
That's clairvoyance.
Yeah, and the thing is, I've always had that gift to pull it out of people. You know, the difference is that sometimes you can see things in people, but they just don't see it. I don't know how they don't see it, because for me, it's crystal clear, but they don't see it in themselves yet. And once they see it in themselves, like, why didn't I see this a long time ago? It's because you might not have been ready for the message. You know, just because the message is there does not mean somebody's ready for it.
Well, we're kind of blind to what our abilities are, and we're always thinking small. And so I was looking for and had been hiring coaches for years.
Yeah.
I had spent more than $1 million, and I didn't even have. I had to do this process that I know about conscious alchemy to pay these coaches. You're the first one that actually saw me.
Wow, that's powerful.
And when you saw me, I was at that juncture too. I was saying, I'm ready, but I'm kind of, am I going to peek out? Am I really going to come out and be who it is that I am? Am I really going to show my abilities to the world?
But I think it's also because I've worked with people in the past that they've been seers. You know, one has a global show in 75 countries. He's had heads of state, the biggest name actors in the world, that all would come to him because he had the ability to see things they couldn't see. You know, and I think that's one of the gifts that you have, is that when you can help people tap into those powers through your courses, your program, your coaching, it makes a significant difference in their life. Why do you do what you do?
There's something so sacred and intimate about helping somebody, as you well know, helping somebody see themselves. So there's also something very valuable with a seer, and that is they will hold the space. Like, I can see the predicaments of my clients. I can see what their patterns are and see what they're doing. But the problem is I also see how brilliant and how big they are and how powerful they are. So I will hold that space until they go on the journey to believe themselves. So people like me need people like me to help me. I've been looking for that my entire life.
So tell us about your new book coming out. I know this is exciting news. I wish we had a copy here, but tell us what you got going on.
Well, it just got published yesterday.
So exciting.
It's called Superpowers Unleashed, and it is Identify and Monetize Your Senses. And there's a course called Awakening Your Senses. So your 5 senses is your intuition, your discernment, and the way for you to make it's your inner guidance system. It's your inner GPS, that once you know how you receive information, and then you realize that the people in front of you, your salespeople, everybody else, you realize how to reach them, how to communicate with them. It's a beautiful, sacred moment when somebody awakens to what they really want. You see me, and I see, hear, smell, taste them.
It's amazing.
And then I teach them how to use this so that you get rid of your insecurities, you make greater sales, you learn how to read people in meetings, you learn how to see past, therefore you contribute more in meetings. And in corporate America, it's your relationships become more intimate and special.
So one last question I've got for you is that if people would like to work with you, I know you have private coaching, group programs, now your book is out. What are some of the ways they can work with you, and how can they find you? How can they get more information?
You can go to tammymirza.com and sign up for my email, and then you'll get the notices of everything that's coming out. The new book has a new course. It has a journal. It has all these things to collaborate to help you to awaken who you really are, which helps you in that journey of, wait a minute, I do have this power. I do have this ability. I do see more than what I hear, more than what people say. Didn't you hear that? No. It makes you not feel alone, and it validates yourself, and then you can go out and use that in the world to do anything you want to with it.
Well, listen, you heard it here. You got to go check out Tammy Mirza today. Look at her work. Life-changing, impacting so many people. Someone you want to get to know, whether she's a speaker at your event or you get to attend and watch her live. Get plugged in. Once again, everybody, this is Bill Walsh with GBN Network. Thanks for plugging in. Until the next time we get together, have an awesome day. Thanks, Tammy.
Thank you.
Boom.